Hey, great to have you. I'm RJ Chapman. I've got a great person here today. This is my buddy, my friend, probably one of my closest friends. I've worked with him a long time and known him a long time. This is Master Chief Robby Bell. I guess today we're going to call you Robby.
Call me Robby. That's what I prefer.
Don't call you late for supper.
Exactly.
Well, I'm so glad to have you.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
We're going to talk about some leadership stuff today.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And I want you to go ahead and kick this ball off.
Sure. Yeah, man. Joining the Navy was probably the best decision I ever made in my life.
Right.
I was 25 years old.
Dang.
It was, yeah, man. I was trying to pursue a career in music, but
well, nobody does that.
Yeah. Well, and then I figured out that Elton John and Billy Joel had a short, bald, chubby guy. They had that market all locked up.
There wasn't room for a third.
No more room for me. So I said, you know what? Let me try something different. And so I joined the Navy at 25, and it was scary.
I bet.
And when I first joined, it was just a 4-year commitment.
Right.
And I thought to myself, wow, man, I'm going to be almost 30 years old when I'm done with this.
Right. That seemed old.
So if I get out,
right,
I'm going to have to start all over again at 30. As 30 is ancient.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I thought 30 years ago.
Right.
So, I really didn't know what I was getting into, but I made a decision right up front. You know what? I'm taking this all the way. I'm going to do 20 years.
Wow.
Because my dad was in the Navy. My uncle was. I had several cousins in Air Force, Army, all those. And every time we'd get together, everybody'd be sitting around having a beer, whatever. And it would always come up. If I'd have stayed in the Navy, I could be retired in 3 years. Well, if I would have stayed in the Air Force, I could be retired.
Oh, they all got out?
All of them.
Oh,
I am the only one.
Wow.
That has retired.
Nice.
And it was that lesson learned through them is every single one of them regretted it. Every single one that joined the military and got out, they regretted that they got out.
I got to tell you a quick story.
Sure.
It goes right along the lines. I came home one day in San Diego, senior chief of the boat. I get out of my car. There's a guy on a bicycle. He doesn't have a shirt on. His shorts are all frayed and stuff. And he has real long hair. And he looked at me and he goes, Are you in the Navy? I said, Yes, sir, I am. He goes, I should have stayed. I will never forget it. And that's what they're going through with your story there.
Yeah. And that, I thought I knew what I was getting into, but so when I came in, I started looking for, okay, I'm 25. I have 19-year-old kids in charge of me.
Nice.
How do I get to where they are in the quickest fashion?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started looking everywhere. And when I was in my first school, A school, I was a corpsman.
Right.
Okay, so I go in, I learn.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, he's not a doctor. I did play one on a submarine.
He stepped in a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah. So I'm in this thing, and I start hearing about critical rate. What's a critical rate? Critical rate is something nobody wants to do.
Right.
So they had this offer. Hey, you know what? If you go to pharmacy tech school, we will extend your contract by 2 years. We'll make you an automatic E4, was called the STAR program.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't have to wait to go E1, E2, E3. You're going to go straight to E4. I said, where do I sign up? Because I'm coming in for 20 years.
I was going to say, because you already knew you were going to make it a career.
That's
so what if they tack on 2 more?
So what?
And give you some dough.
If they're going to give me E4 for 2 years, I'm doing it.
I would have done it.
So I did that. I signed up. E4.
Right.
Not long after that, I'm looking now in boot camp. I saw these people in boot camp that I said, how do I become one of them as soon as possible?
Mm-hmm.
It was a chief petty officer. Oh, man, they were the coolest dudes in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll never be one of them. I don't have what it takes. Before I joined the Navy, I was pretty horrible in high school.
Did you have a little seedy past?
Yeah, I had a very seedy past, and I barely graduated high school.
But that chief.
And when I saw those Chiefs, I was like, oh, I'll never be one, but man, I would really love to be one.
Right.
So that was once I knew I was coming in for 20, my goal was I'm going to be one of those guys. And I want to be one of those guys as quick as possible. Right. They're the coolest guys in the Navy. So, that was one of my things. Okay, I'm going to be a chief. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to do the work that it takes. So I started studying chief petty officers, and I just started watching them, watching how they operate, the things they said, the things they did, everything. I listened to them, and
the way they treated people.
And the way they, yes. They were just great people.
Yep, they care.
Yeah, they cared about the junior people.
Correct.
So I was listening to this chief one time about the pharmacy tech thing.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned something about a STAR program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said that before.
Yeah.
What I meant was ATF. The first one was
Well, you have to tell what ATF means.
Yeah, Advanced Technical Field.
Oh.
Okay, so
you were smart.
So they said, hey, if you sign up for this Advanced Technical Field, we'll tack 2 years onto your enlistment and we'll make you an automatic E4. And I said, sign me up.
Yeah.
Well, then I wasn't in the Navy for 2 years. And I heard about this thing called the STAR program. And I said, well, what is that? They said, well, what we'll do is we'll cancel your first contract. We'll sign you up under a new 6-year contract. We'll give you $30,000 re-enlistment bonus. Cha-ching. And we'll make you an automatic E5.
Nice.
And I said, where do I sign up? Because
signs your name a lot in the first time.
Hey, I was going to be an E5,
right?
And I've been in the Navy less than 2 years. It was you had to be in the Navy for 21 months,
right?
You had to be an E4 for at least a year, and I met those parameters. And I said, "Sign me up."
Right.
So I did it. So there I was, 21 months in the Navy. I'm an E5.
I didn't do it that fast.
It takes a lot longer.
It does.
Right.
Totally.
Now, and I'm not saying any of this to brag.
No.
I mean, it was
Hey, it was just sign your name.
Oh, I'm so special. And no, I saw an opportunity and I took it because I knew most people who come in, they're coming in for the GI Bill. They're getting out in 4 years, and they're going to go to college and live their life.
And they're young.
And they're young,
immature,
and all they think about is, okay, I got 2 years and 44 days left.
Right.
And I'm going to get out and I'm going to do this.
Right.
I was the opposite. Okay. I've got now 18 years left. I'm already an E5. So I've got 18 years to be that chief petty officer that I
should make it.
I should make it. Because E5 to E7, that's only 2 ranks.
Right.
Now, if I don't get myself in a lot of trouble again, and if I don't mess things up and I act right, and I continue studying these people,
right,
it just might happen for me.
You are a studier of people and personalities, and it works so well for you in that classroom too. But that's a real attribute.
Oh, and just, here's my thing, and I tell the kids this where, I don't know if we mentioned,
he teaches freshmen.
Yeah, I'm an ROTC instructor at Camden County High School.
We worked together 14 years.
14 years we did it together, and it was awesome.
All we did was laugh every day.
There was never a day that it wasn't fun. So, but what I did was I studied people to say, I want to be that person. So how am I going to be that person? I'm going to watch what they do. I'm going to see how they operate. I'm going to collect as much knowledge from this person as I possibly can.
Right.
And I'm going to become what that person is. Now, I don't want to copy that person.
Right.
I want to be my own.
Well, you want the best parts of that person.
The best parts of that person.
Right.
And so I did that. I watched, I was studying chiefs from the time I was in boot camp because I knew I wanted to be one.
Right.
So, there I was an E5. I was, doing my thing. I was very proud of myself.
Sure.
I was like, hey, for a guy who was, kind of I don't know what you would
beach bum.
Yeah. and not a good person in high school, barely graduated. Where to be an E5 in the Navy, I was really, really
Well, and you should be. That's the backbone of the Navy.
you know. And so, but I'm an E5.
Hmm.
Now I got to make E6.
Right.
Okay. In the corpsman rate back then, if to take the test, you had to basically ace the test and then have other points with ribbons and warship medals, devices and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what do? How do I do it? Well, a thing came up. Hey, if you volunteer to go on this 6-month deployment with the MMART team, you could probably qualify for some type of warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed up. Okay. Who wants to sign up for a 6-month deployment on a ship? You know how many hands went up?
None.
One.
Well, one.
Oh, me.
Yeah, you're all excited.
Sure. Because what was I thinking? I was saying, oh, man, I'll go and get a warfare device. That's going to give me more points on the test. I'll be able to make E6. My whole thing was about, and I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
Right.
My whole thing was, how do I become a chief, man? That's all I cared about.
I know.
And I did my job, and I just wanted to how do I set myself apart and to be this chief? So I volunteered and I went out on this 6-month deployment.
What was that ship?
The USS Saipan.
Oh, that's an old LHD.
LHA.
LH.
And we're still on an LHA.
I was. USS Nassau.
Yeah. Command Master Chief. Yeah.
I did something on there. I don't know what I did, but yes. But that's a big ship. I mean, there's a 2,000 sailors, 2,000 Marines. How many corpsmen? Must be 50.
Oh, man. We had surgical suites.
Because there's a hospital.
We had everything. Yeah. It was.
I bet you learned a lot.
Yeah. So I was just, supplementing the medical department.
Okay.
There.
And you got qualified?
And yeah, I got qualified. I got my surface warfare device on that 6-month deployment.
Right.
Because I went and I did something nobody else wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Remember that. If there's something nobody wants to do, do it.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Exactly. And you know what you're giving? You're giving a little more effort than the next guy.
Right.
And you know what? The freeway of effort has very few cars on it, Robby.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can go as fast as you want. And you're obviously driving this Lamborghini.
Oh, yeah.
In the first few years of the Navy.
I was at a command once where their T-shirt design.
Yeah. Well,
plenty of room on the extra mile.
I think mine was bad, but I do like it.
Yours is really good. But that made it just pop into my head.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. So I get my surface warfare. Now I'm back at the pharmacy, back in Charleston. Okay. Took the E6 exam.
Oh.
Still no joy, bro.
No. Well, you had to answer every question correct.
Oh, God.
It was so tight up there. Was it so tight?
There were so many corpsmen and so many So I was like, wow, this is crazy. Well, talk about studying chiefs. When I was on that 6-month deployment, there was a chief that came with us.
Oh.
His name was Dean Trantham. Trantham. They called him Chance.
Chance.
Now, Chance Trantham, he would say, we would be ready to go out on Liberty, right?
Right.
We would stand in a line a mile long for 2 hours, waiting to get off of that ship.
I know.
Just to go somewhere. You know what Chance would say? When I was on a submarine, we'd be up out of that ship and on the beach in 15 minutes.
That's right, because the submariners go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
If you have to transfer over that ship.
Oh, even without a ship.
Yeah, you're full.
And then so Dean Trantham, Chance Trantham, he kept saying, you know what? This chow line's horrible. On a submarine, the chow is awesome.
It is. Awesome.
Yeah, they have a night baker who works all night long and makes sticky buns, fresh bread every day.
Oh,
yeah,
chocolate chip cookies.
You know what? On a submarine, you don't have to. You get to do your own laundry. You don't have to take your laundry and whatever.
Yeah.
So by the time I came off of that thing, guess what I wanted to be? A submariner.
I was wanting to guess though.
I'm sorry. And I wanted to be a chief. So I go to Chance Trantham, who I'm studying.
Right.
I want to be like Chance. He's a chief.
Yes.
How do I become what you are? He said, well, you need to go to Submarine Independent Duty Corpsman School. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. It's probably the hardest school in the Navy. And it was
probably the hardest job in the Navy. You're the only one.
Hey, let me tell you, man, it was tough. It was tough, but to get there.
Right.
So I go to what's called a career counselor, and I said, I want to be a submarine independent duty corpsman.
Right.
Guess what I found out?
You qualified?
If you've been a second class petty officer for 5.5 years,
Yes.
and you sign up and you meet the wickets, you go to be a submarine independent duty corpsman. The school's a year long.
Oh,
If you graduate with a 91 or better average, they'll make you an automatic E6
oh my gosh. One step from the coveted.
and give you a $30,000 reenlistment bonus.
Hey, by the way, this stuff costs a lot. But go ahead.
Yeah. So what do?
Yes.
I sign me up.
Right.
Sign me up. So I go. And I'm there at the school. I'm an E5. I got less than 6 years in the Navy. And,
Yeah.
I had to go through the submarine school and all that stuff. And man, I'm going to tell you, that school was tough. It was tough. I didn't know if I was going to make it that 91 average because, man, it was really hard.
What was your average?
It was higher than 90. But I had a best friend there. This guy, he got through sub IDC school, and then he went to become a physician's assistant.
Oh.
And then he became
I know
an
this
officer.
guy.
You do know this guy. This guy's name is Christopher Sharp. And he and I were study partners, and every single day, me and that guy put every ounce of effort we could into
Well, you have to have
into reaching that.
I don't think
goal.
you can do it by yourself. I think you got to have.
I would have never made it through that with
Chris is a super guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We could throw a little shout out to.
He retired as a lieutenant commander from the White House.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I went to his retirement ceremony,
He's
going and eating breakfast in the West Wing, hanging out in Mike Pence's office. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But yeah, Chris really got me through it. I think he and I got each other through it. And, we just buckled down. We both had the same goal in mind. And
well, did you make chief off the boat?
no, so I get there.
Right.
So I make my 91.
Right.
They make me a first class petty officer. They send me to my first submarine. Okay. Wow. Drinking through a fire hose, man.
Yeah, man.
It would take a whole nother show for us to talk
I just
about.
want to make sure these guys understand.
Yeah.
There's no doctor. There's no nurse. He's it. And you're underwater. It's not like somebody has an appendix and we can pull in the next day. I mean, you're doing something to defend the nation. We got to have the appendix operation with this guy. One guy for 180 people. I would be sweating bullets every day I woke up.
Or just keep the guy stable until we can finally medevac him off, which may be by another ship, could be by a helicopter, could be, whatever.
I got to tell you a quick story about Pete.
Yeah.
So I'm on board the ship. It's Christmas.
Master Chief Parnell.
Yes.
He was one of my instructors at Submarine Independent Duty Corpsman School.
Right. But it's Christmas and they're playing checkers and there's a poker thing. And then there's a lieutenant and a quartermaster and they're doing the arm wrestling thing. And the quartermaster breaks the lieutenant's arm. The bone is sticking out of his arm. I heard it go pop. And Petey set the bone, put the cast on, put the guy in the captain's stateroom, gave him the morphine, but we didn't get him off it for a month.
Oh, yeah.
And when we finally got him off, guess what? Petey said it perfect. They didn't have to do nothing but put another cast on.
Awesome.
Corpsman.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Hey, and that right, there's a lot of scary. You wake up every day thinking, is today the day that somebody's going to have a heart attack? Is today the day that somebody's going to, really bad? I mean, yeah, so it was tough. There was a lot of stress there.
Right.
But more than that, there was the admin, the supplies, the radiation health program, I barely survived it. If it weren't for the squadron guys that come down and help you, I wouldn't.
Were they really there to help?
They were there to help.
That's nice.
Hey, let me tell you, there were squadron guys, Senior Chief Schutz, Vinny Schutz. He was awesome. Another guy, Dave Peck, Rick Pittenger. I wish I could name all of them, but man, I'm telling you, those guys, they were chiefs.
Nice.
They were the chiefs. That's who I wanted to be. And
you were close.
And they were senior chiefs, master.
Well, I don't think corpsmen, independent duty corpsmen, if they don't fall on their sword, they're going to make chief.
I'll tell you this. I really, honest to God, think I barely survived that tour.
Well, you probably did.
I barely survived it without getting fired or without doing something
They
crazy.
could have fired you any day.
Any day.
I know how.
I mean, it was tough.
I knew you were doing your best. You were trying your hardest.
So I did. I found out that I had made board.
Ooh.
And I'll never forget, the captain comes on, the 1MC. I got chills.
Yeah.
He says, "Good evening, Buffalo. This is the captain. As you know, we had more advancements in this squadron than any other submarine, and it looks like we've done it again.
Right.
The following are the new chief selects aboard the USS Buffalo. Chief select, Bell."
He said,
I didn't hear anything else after that.
But
I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't hear another name. And then this guy comes in front of me and he's like screaming in my face. And I'm like, what? And he's like, we did it. I was like,
another guy that made you.
another guy that made you. And I was, man, dude, I can cry right now.
Right.
I mean, it's the emotions that
we're watching you.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to talk, but the emotion of it was just, oh my God, I achieved something.
Yes.
That's in my life. A loser has made it to a pinnacle,
Right.
a pinnacle in the Navy.
But
to chief,
I think, and I'm sure you'd agree, you make chief in the Navy, you made it. You made it enlisted wise. You make chief, good on you.
yeah,
That's big because it's big.
Oh.
Officers, you make, lieutenant commander because of that scrambled egg thing.
yeah.
So it's a huge step.
It was, and here's the thing, it was, and again, I'm there by no means bragging on anything,
Right.
but it was less than 10 years. I was like right around,
Sounds like you were pretty lucky.
and you know what, and I know why you brought that up too, because that used to be a thing for me that people say, oh man, you made that, you did, well, you must be so lucky. Oh, you're so lucky.
Right.
And you know what? I was offended by that.
Yes.
And you know why? Because I wasn't lucky. Man, I worked hard.
Right.
I took the jobs nobody else wanted, and I did things that other people wouldn't do. Now, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of sub IDCs out there who did the same thing, and most of them are chiefs or above and whatever. Yeah. But you know what? There's some guy you might know who taught me something one day talking about studying chiefs. That whole thing, lucky, that got under my skin. This guy showed me this thing one time. He said, you know what this is right here? He said, that's a negative. He said, and you know how you fix that? Do this, and you make it a positive. Wonder who that was.
It's on my TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
It's my very.
So I learned that from some master chief who I had a lot of respect for. It. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take this negative. I'm going to turn it into a positive. So all these people were saying, oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. And I finally said, you know what? You're right. I am lucky. And you know what I found? Luck is the key to success. It's all about luck. And I've had people question me on that. They say, oh, that's crazy. There's no way. So, we get chief petty officers, and every year they have to come and gain knowledge.
Right.
So they would come to me and they'd say, I need some knowledge. I said, here's your knowledge. Luck is the key to success. The only reason you're sitting here in front of me right now is because of luck. And you know what they would do? They would get offended. It wasn't because I was lucky. It's because I worked hard. And because I said, nope, I said, you're going to agree with me before you leave here that luck had everything to do with you being selected to be a chief petty officer.
I'm hanging on.
And you know what they said? They'd say, no way, I'll never agree with you. And I would say, okay, well, let's go through it. You went to Navy boot camp, right? What did you do there? You learned
my t-shirt.
Yeah, you learned how to fold a t-shirt. You learned how to sweep a floor. You learned how to clean a toilet.
Right.
You got a lot of experience in that, don't
you? I do. I was very good at cleaning toilets.
So journals. Right. And so what you really learned there was attention to detail.
Right.
And now what did you do? Then you left boot camp and you either went to be to your A school or wherever else. So what did you do in A school? You learned how to do your job.
Right.
Okay. So now you get out of A school. What do? You go to a submarine, you go to a ship, you go somewhere, and you take what you learned and you put it to work. And you work with the knowledge that you've collected, right? And if you do that long enough, now it's time to become a second-class petty officer. Well, if you collected the knowledge and you labored using that collected knowledge and you collected more knowledge, what happens? You become a second-class petty officer.
Right.
And that keeps going, right? What's the Navy known for? It's known for acronyms, right?
Oh, I can't wait to. I love acronyms.
Yeah. Well,
So luck must have.
yeah. So there you got the COB, right? The chief of the boat.
I know that guy.
The CO, commanding officer, the XOs. So what you're telling me is you went to boot camp, you went to A school, you went to these things, and you took the knowledge that you collected and you worked doing that. So basically, you're telling me that you labored using collected knowledge, and that's what got you to where you are. Labor using collected knowledge. It's luck. It's the key to success.
Oh, it is.
Collect knowledge. You don't have to collect knowledge from college. You don't have to do it in school. You get it from people.
Right.
You get it from anything around you. I want to be a Master Chief Petty Officer. So what do? I collect knowledge from the Master Chief Petty Officer. I take that knowledge that I collected and I put it to work for myself.
Right.
I labor using that collected knowledge and I find success.
So you're watching them, you're paying attention to them, you're taking the things that you like what they do that can fit for you and you're putting them in your toolbox.
That's right.
But they're obviously doing things that aren't that great, but you're not paying attention to that. You're paying to the cool things that they do that are going to work for you.
Well, but you pay attention to everything.
Sure.
You look at, hey, I've had some chiefs who I didn't quite think were the best.
They're not getting the Christmas card.
Well, you know what I did? I collected knowledge from them and I decided, I'm not using that.
Right.
No, I'm never going to do that. So I learned from them too.
Yeah.
And I learned from the good, I learned from the bad. And I just collect the knowledge and I take the good parts, leave out the bad parts. And if you do that, and this works in anything, it doesn't have to be in the Navy. Sure. It could be, if you want to be a doctor,
right?
Hey, go and watch doctors, go talk to doctors, see what doctors are doing, collect knowledge from them, then take that knowledge you've collected, put it to work for yourself and get to where they are. And that's what I did. And that's how I made chief. And then, of course, once you're a chief, I made chief. Oh, didn't think it was ever going to happen. And then, of course, you'd think I'd be satisfied, right? Nope. Now I'm looking for that star. Oh, I want to be a senior chief now, So, and here's another thing with luck. Once you're in that chief petty officer role, that's when everything becomes about leadership.
Right.
Okay. And leadership is huge.
It is huge.
But you don't just become a chief and wake up one day and you're a leader.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to make you a good leader?
Be a good follower. Be a good follower too.
Yeah.
Start.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't be a leader without followers.
Right.
Okay. You can't be anything without somebody, under you. So that labor using collected knowledge, okay, I want to be a senior chief. I want to be a master chief, but now I'm a leader. I'm no longer a laborer.
Right.
The whole leadership thing. As a chief petty officer, senior chief, that's what we're there for. We're there to lead now and no longer labor.
Right.
So how do you use luck that way? And so it hit me while I'm sitting in there one day. We're trying to make a decision about what we're going to do with somebody, whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, hey, it's luck again. Luck is going to make me a senior chief and a master chief, but it's no longer labor using collected knowledge. Now it's lead using collective knowledge. So as chief petty officers, it's collective. We are going to lead using collective knowledge.
Right.
And again, it's luck. And luck is going to make us successful as chief petty officers, as leaders.
Right.
And then, so as time went on, I was selected to senior chief and then selected to master chief. And all of it is due to luck, because I took this thing of people calling me lucky, and instead of being negative about it, turned it into a positive, and luck was the key to my success. The only thing that really messed me up, though,
lucky.
They were saying lucky,
right?
Lucky.
There's a Y.
What do I do with the Y? There's a Y at the end.
Yeah. What's that stand for?
Well, guess what?
I
got stationed in Kings Bay, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're down here in Kings Bay, yes, we are, So it finally hit me. I said, now I know. Labor using collected knowledge, y'all.
Yeah, well, that's just one person, so we'll say all y'all.
Yeah. So there we go. And
Sure.
and being leadership, I learned a lot. We met when I was a senior,
Right.
You were a master chief, and we had to together figure out a way that, hey, how are we gonna, whatever. And you and I got together and collected knowledge from each other.
I remember that.
And collectively, and we put together probably one of the best
Chiefs initiation
seasons that I was ever a part of. And it's because we listened to each other and we led using collective knowledge instead of just saying, I'm going to do this by myself, and you gave us that opportunity to, instead of saying, I'm the master chief, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
You sat and you listened to us.
Yeah, there were a lot of sharp people on that thing that all came together, like you say, to make that thing go off. And, I was kind of an outsider. I just got back from Bahrain. Everybody here has been here forever, But, yeah, I got to hand it to them. They jumped on board pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was pretty proud.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great season. And, a lot of great leadership on that base, man. Yes. It was really nice. Yeah, speaking of leadership,
Sure.
I get to, I'm teaching ninth graders.
Right.
Okay. I heard something way back when I was like a second class petty officer. I was at that independent duty corpsman school, and we had a senior chief there. His name was Dave Prushke. Now, talk about a chief that I was studying. Boy, I was collecting knowledge from that guy all the time, man. He was sharp. He was a Navy diver. He was a chief's chief, man. And I was like, oh, I want to be like this guy someday.
Right.
And he put me in charge of something with the other, and these guys were just willy. They weren't doing anything I said.
Spitting the bit.
Nah, they just, they didn't care about it. And, I wanted to be the cool leader. I wanted to be the guy that's, look, man, I'm not going to get upset over every thing. You walk in 5 minutes, like, no, but I'm not going to go crazy about that. Whatever, we could blah, blah, blah. Well, then the 5 minutes late turns into 10 minutes late.
Right.
And then instead of one guy, now it's everybody. And now it's turning into whatever. And I'm like, all right, now I got to lay the hammer down. That's it, you guys. That was so crazy.
Right.
And I go to Senior Chief Prushke, and I'm like, man, he said, well, you can expect what you accept. And I was like,
yeah, that's a big light bulb.
Blew my mind. He said, you accepted it. You accepted them coming in late, so you can expect they're going to continue to do it.
Yep.
He said, so, that's your fault, shit, mate. And he was right. Yeah. And man, when it comes, going to be a chief petty officer, you go through leadership training, senior chief, master chief. Even now, they have special schools for master chiefs who are going to become a command master.
Senior enlisted academy.
All that stuff, yeah. But those were the 6 most powerful words of leadership I ever heard in my life. You can expect what you accept. And you know what? I teach that to ninth graders. It works in every aspect of life. Yes. And one of the big things that I see, and I'm very, very sensitive to this, is females being treated in a poor manner.
Right.
So these little ninth grade girls, they're all wanting to start dating boys and, boys and girls. And it's constant.
Right.
But I tell these girls, I have a class, I kick the boys out of the room.
Right.
And I say, listen to me. You're going to start going out with these boys. Okay. Some of these boys may not be the one that you expect. They start out real nice and whatever, and then you might say something that they don't like, and they might give you a little grab, a little tug. Hey, you don't say that. And you go, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. And you stay with them, and you don't let that bother you. And then the next time he goes, hey, and he gives you that little grab, maybe gives you a little whatever. Hey, no, you can expect what you accept. If you accept that first time, you can expect it's gonna continue.
Right.
Don't let that continue. Stop it now. Don't accept it the first time. Make sure on that very first time, this is not acceptable. You will never do this again. If you want to be with me, that will never happen again. And if it does, or say, you know what, that was the one time and now it's over forever. So, kids learn from this. Everybody, when you have kids, okay, you see the little kid at Walmart screaming on the floor because he's not getting the toy.
Right.
Why is he doing that?
Right.
Because it's acceptable to
He will get the toy.
well, he's either going to get where
Later.
I know, hey, you probably had the same kind of parenting I had. I didn't lay in the floor and scream.
No, I got the
because I knew what to expect.
Hey, I got the rod of correction.
Yeah. I knew what was coming.
I got to go pick my weapon.
So,
but hey, I'll take it any time.
Yeah,
I'll take it any time. Yeah, all turned out.
But I just got, I'm gonna say this on here and whatever. But I learned a lot of leadership from you. I did. I was a senior chief. You knew it was very important for me to.
Well, I wanted you to be a master chief too,
and I wanted
because you were at those meetings. They were all master chiefs. You were the only senior chief.
Well,
we selected you to do that PT thing,
right?
That physical training thing, and not one of those kids did not get his anchor put on because of you.
Well,
I mean, they were 10, 15 pounds overweight. We had 6 weeks to make them, lose
get
it.
in shape. Yeah.
And they lost it. And then we ran them through that huge program. And the next morning they got their anchors put on.
Yeah.
They were toting their little bags of fluid because one guy was on crutches, but it was successful.
It was successful, even though there were a couple of IV bags.
It was a couple of IV bags.
Crutches, emergency room visits.
Well, Robby, I'm so glad you came on the show today, and I miss you.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on here. This is awesome, and those 14 years that we worked together at that, I wouldn't trade that for the world.
No, me either. I don't think anybody knows Robby Bell better than me.
I don't think
I know 3 times of everything of Robby Bell.
I don't think anybody knows RJ Chapman the way I do. But the thing, this laugh, this right here,
I know,
is what we had every day.
I know.
Who could not love that?
No, it was fun, and the kids were fun.
It was, and I, those kids got a lot from you. I still see right now, on Facebook or whatever. And now that you're gone, it's Master Chief Chapman up there. Master Chief Chapman going to come? Is Master Chief Chapman going to come to the winter ball?
Williams called me from Korea last night.
He called me the other day. Yeah, we had a real good time.
He's doing real well.
Yeah, we've had some great kids over the years.
It was a great second career.
I really think that ROTC program, that influence, that they see that leadership and they learn that. They're looking at you. They're looking at the colonel. They're looking at the chief, and they're collecting knowledge from these guys, and they're taking that and they say, "Oh, I'm going to use this because I want to be like that someday." They may not exactly want to be a master chief or a senior chief, but they want to be a successful adult.
They want to be success, and they want to be told they're going to be okay.
Right.
They're going to be fine, and they know that's true because it's coming from us.
And it is going to be.
It is going to be.
I try to tell all the parents that, they're losing their minds over their ninth grade. Oh my God. Hey, we turned out.
Yeah. I'm sure do you see a little bit of you in them? You're okay.
I've not met a ninth grader yet who was worse than I was. That's the ninth grader. If I could go back in time, I'd find myself in.
Wouldn't you like to see a video of you, a little movie of one day of your life?
I don't want to see it. I'd be so embarrassed.
I'd like to see one day in my life when I was back there, because when I went to a class reunion and they're all telling me about what I was like. I'm like, no way, really? I guess I was.
Yeah. I don't want to go back and hear all that because I already know.
Well, we don't have to. We just look towards the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look right.
And I look forward to you when you get to retire and you get to experience how nice it is, because it's very nice, and you're not going to have a problem with it because you're going to fill it up. You're going to do it just like me. I mean, if you look at my phone right now and I show you what I got going on, there's hardly a day that doesn't have a line between something's going on, but it's all fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's laughter. Yeah. And it feels good. And it's joyous.
Well, I look forward to it. I'm very fortunate that, we get lots of time off as a teacher after being in the Navy,
which you earn
21 years.
Right.
Being a teacher, this is a great job.
It is a great job.
I get plenty of time off to spend time with my grandkids.
Yeah.
And, all that stuff. And you and I get to go and golf.
Yeah. It's great, man. I'm not going anywhere. Are you going anywhere?
No.
I'm staying right here.
No, I'm staying.
I'm staying right here, y'all. Well, thanks for coming, Robby.
Yeah, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, bro. Enjoy.